Hello. In this video, I'll be showing the difference between 2D and 3D in Unity. Generally, SIGGD votes at the start of the year whether to do 2D or 3D. Traditionally, we've done 2D the most, but we've also made a few 3D games. That's important because in Unity, 3D and 2D have some major differences. We've already looked at the 3D scene, but if we go back to it, we can notice that generally most objects will have a mesh filter and a mesh renderer. That's because the mesh is a collection of 3 points which make the shape, and the renderer makes it actually show up. A render itself will then have a material which defines how it looks, and you also probably have a collider on it which makes things not be able to run into it, or makes it push other things. That's different in 2D, but in some ways very similar. If we look here, instead of a mesh filter and then a mesh render, we only have a sprite render, with a sprite here defining what it looks like. For example, this sprite's the SIGGD logo, so the sprite render just makes it show up. Here, I have a cube and a circle as well, to show that when we play it, this cube has that same make spin script from before, that it still spins. In the same way as before, most scripts that work in 2D will also work in 3D. It just, when you're rendering or doing things, it will just be on a flat plane. You'll still have that third dimension though. As you can see, these are more forward. Because they're closer to the camera, that means they'll show up first. One thing that I often do is I click and drag the game view on the other side so I can see how things look. If I take this cube and drag it behind the SIGGD logo, it won't show up. And that's why, even though it's 2D, that third axis is still very important. Another thing to note is if you want to have collision, you can have a box collider 2D. In general, most of the Unity built-in components have a 2D version, and they just have the same name with 2D afterwards and work in pretty much the same way. Alright, that's all for this video. Thank you.